Concerns are only growing that both Israel and Hezbollah appear to be spiraling toward an all-out war after a week of major tactical successes by Israel's military and today's heavy cross-border exchange of rocket fire. To discuss, we're joined now by Josh Hasten, award-winning journalist and Middle East correspondent for the Jewish News Syndicate. He joins us now from Jerusalem. Josh, thank you for being here with us today. So Hezbollah retaliated after a week of intense Israeli attacks in Lebanon by launching projectiles, targeting areas farther inside of northern Israel than we've typically seen. What do we foresee happening next here?
Well, first, let's remember exactly as the Prime Minister stated, this began all the way back in October when Hezbollah began launching unprovoked strikes, missiles, rockets, and sending drones over into Israel. So Israel's had some major successes over the last several days, including killing the number 4 in Hezbollah, Ibrahim Akil, who was actually preparing, along with his friends, along with his fellow terrorists, to launch an October 7th style massacre in the Galilee in northern Israel. So thank God that plot was thwarted. And over the last 24 hours or so, at least 150 rockets launched by Hezbollah at northern Israel. But it could have been much worse because Israel's been operating around the clock in order to disarm, take out hundreds of rocket launching sites and thousands of rockets themselves. And yes, we are still getting rockets. It's still coming further and further south. But that being said, Israel averted a major travesty, by taking out the number 4 leader there in Hezbollah and several of his other commandos there.
At this point, is the widely held sentiment that a wider, more intense conflict is unavoidable?
It's appearing as we're heading in that direction. You have to remember that Iran calls the shots here. It's really up to Iran. They're the head of the octopus, just like they manipulate and conduct business on behalf of Hezbollah. They also control Hamas down in Gaza. They're different heads of the same terror organization. Iran, the biggest sponsor of terror in the world. So right now, Israel has had major accomplishments, and let's remember that, taking out the number 4 in Hezbollah, as well as the pager attacks and the walkie-talkie attacks, which took place last week, in which it was two pinpointed strikes, taking out hundreds of terrorists, injuring many, many more. So yeah, it's headed in that direction. It appears right now it's definitely escalating at this point, and we can only hope that Israel continues to have much, much success in taking out those terrorists who, again, as the Prime Minister said, 80,000 Israelis not in their homes right now as a result of everything going on. And that's not a sustainable situation. Those people have to return home, and Israel's doing everything possible to protect our residents on the northern border and get those people back home where they belong.
Now, a lot of people, despite the successes that Israel's military is seeing, are still calling for a ceasefire and an agreement with Hamas to get troops out of Gaza to stop the fighting there that many say would hopefully dial back the attacks from Hezbollah on the northern border. At this point, how likely is an agreement, do you think?
At this point, I think it's very unlikely because Hamas has rejected each and every ceasefire offer that Israel's put on the table. They keep making excuses. They're pointing their fingers at Israel. But that being said, Hamas is the one who's rejecting each and every offer. So they continue to go down this path. Hamas is still, there's still a war going on down in the south. You have to remember that. Hamas continues to attack Israelis, also sending rockets and also attacking our troops. So I don't see at this point any serious ceasefire opportunities because of the fact that Hamas continues to reject. And again, Iran is calling the shots. It's very, very important to remember, whether it's the Houthis in Yemen, whether it's Hezbollah in Lebanon, or Hamas down in Gaza, Israel is being attacked now on 7 different fronts, and we have to do everything in our power to defend ourselves against this aggression.
Certainly many proxy groups involved, a lot of moving parts here. Josh Hasten, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.